This is silent noise.
What's going on, YouTube? So you were seeing this right. Yes, I'm on CarX. I know I have been off of CarX for a very, very long time, and I feel terrible about that personally, being one of the co-creators of the official wheel community and everything on Facebook. And the 2.14 update just dropped. And let me tell you that it feels tremendously better than it has the last 6 months when I've tried to play CarX on and off in between being on a set of ports and now that I'm on my computer. Get back on here. It's really good. They've made huge improvements. The tire physics feel better. The inertia physics, the weight of the cars feel better. Obviously, it's CarX. It's still not perfect, but it is a million times better. And when I say that I'm able to come back on here and play it and enjoy it, that should tell you something. So I'm going to go over all of the settings and some of the little tips and tricks in the tuning to really get the force feedback smoothed out, to really make this game feel good. I've got it as close to a Seto as I can get. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's good. It's good, it's playable, it's enjoyable, and I'm really happy about it because I really did miss playing CarX. So let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to just jump over here to settings first before we do anything. You're going to go to controls. You're going to go to your advanced settings. Go ahead, turn your force feedback all the way up to 1. And right here, you're going to say, hey, why are you on 1080 when you're on a 900-degree wheel? I'm going to explain that. So, first thing you're going to want to do, set this to 1080. I promise. This decreases the input sensitivity with your steering. This is also going to decrease the force feedback output, and it's going to decrease some oscillation and stuff like that. It's actually going to feel the most natural this way too. It's a little bit different than a Seto, where normally if you're on a TMX or a TX, you actually don't even run the full 900 degrees. You're actually running like 860 because of the soft damper that's in the wheel. So go ahead, turn this up to 1080. Trust me, you're going to love it. You're going to go over here to connected devices. Go to your wheel, make sure all this is hooked up. You're going to go down here to calibration. Go ahead and click on this, and you see that right now it's at 1,000, 1,000. So what this is you turn your wheel all the way over, and this is where that soft damper kicks in. You see that white bar isn't all the way over. You're going to take your wheel and you're going to turn past that, and you're going to go all the way to the hard stopper. Let it go, spin it all the way back, spin it all the way the other direction. You want to make sure this says 1,000, 1,000. On CarX, when you calibrate your wheel, that calibration is going to override the base setting for that 1080. That 1080 setting is going to do two things. It's going to give you a base rotation, and it's going to give you your in-car animation. Once you do that, you go over to your calibration, and you calibrate it to whatever rotation you want it at. It's going to override that base setting that you put it on. So you are getting the full amount of rotation when you set it to 1,000, and you are actually getting to use that rotation, all of it, side to side. This is the smoothest that you're going to be able to get it while still maintaining a very decent amount of force feedback, a very decent amount of self-steer, and a very good amount of weight in the wheel. It's not going to be too light. It's going to still try and steer itself in drift. It's going to steer through transitions, stuff like that. So once you've done all that, go ahead and back out of your settings, and we're going to jump straight over to single player, and I'm going to just give you guys some examples of some of the tuning things that you can do to really get your wheels smoothed out. So one big thing, I'm going to jump over here, two big things actually, that's going to really make a difference in how smooth the force feedback output is from the game to your hands. One of those is tire pressure. This is going to affect how rigid or soft the actual tire is. And with CarX's tire model not being perfect, a majority of the community drives on 100s. And you're actually going to turn the front and rear tire pressure down quite a bit. When you're tuning in general, I recommend this anyways, to really get a good feel for the tires and a more accurate representation of grip. for how slick the 100s are. Obviously, this is going to change if you drive on 110s or 120s. But one of the big things is your front tire pressure. As you turn the front tire pressure down, the tire is going to get softer, the sidewall is going to have more give to it. This is going to, one, keep the input down to a more realistic result. It's not going to be that really twitchy, snappy input that you normally have. And two, it's going to dampen some of the effects that are going to come through your wheel. So, first thing, run lower tire pressure. I've been running somewhere between like 140 and 160 depending on the car, and it's feeling pretty good. It has a good response. It's not super twitchy. The other thing that you're going to do is you're going to go over here to your front profile. Right now, you can see that I have a 225 4018. This is these are my real tire specs for my real car. As you can see, this is not a normal car. It's in CarX. This is something I got off of the Steam Workshop. And it's really cool that somebody actually put this on CarX because I get to drive my real car. But the tire profile is another big thing. The shorter you go on your profile, the more rigid the tire is going to get, and the more oscillation and kick you're going to get in your wheel. So, try and stay around like a 40% if you're running like a 225, 235, maybe even 245, depending on how big the arch is and how low your car is. If you start going up in, to a 255, 265, 275 front tire width range, some cars like the Mustang and stuff like that are going to feel good that way. Maybe go down to a 35% front tire profile. But that's the second big thing is the tire profile. Keep a good sidewall on the tire. This is going to keep it from being so rigid. It's going to keep your wheel from knocking back and forth because, we're not on that pure belt-driven force feedback, so there's going to be some oscillation and stuff like that. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's really, really good, I promise. It's enjoyable, it's playable. There's other things that are going to come into how your force feedback is going to get affected in your tuning because CarX, it does actually have that right. It is very detailed in the tuning. It does affect your force feedback output and your steering inputs and everything the way it would setting up a real car. One of those, being caster. My real car has about 9 degrees caster in the front. This is, you're looking at my new, my current alignment on my car down to the Ackerman and everything. So this is sitting at 9 degrees of caster. This is pretty high. Versus what a lot of people run. I like high caster because I like the way it feels. It feels the most natural when translating it over to driving a real car. It's going to be pretty heavy running it, 9 degrees of caster, but you might still get some kick and stuff in the wheel with it being that high. If you want to run, 9, 10, 11 degrees of caster, I recommend maybe taking your force feedback down to like 0.95, 0.9, something like that. But I'm running my force feedback at 1. I'm running 9 degrees of caster on this. It's still pretty smooth. There's other cars that are even smoother than this one. Cars like my S13, the Altezza, the new Toyota Crown is probably one of the best, smoothest cars in the game. It has a really good, accurate representation of weight to it. So it feels fantastic. But this is something that I just wanted to go over and be able to provide to the community. Being on the new update and stuff, there's a lot of people that I've had tell me that their TMX and or T150 doesn't feel right. It oscillates really bad. It's either too heavy, it feels like somebody's gripping the steering column and it's not letting the wheels spin. This should fix all of that on top of having the new update. The new update feels fantastic, I promise. So give these a try. Don't forget, force feedback at 1, rotation at 1080. Make sure you do the 1000 calibration. Try and keep a really low profile, or a really low tire pressure in the front. Keep your tire profile up to a normal sidewall height, not some super crazy, 20, 25, 30% sidewall. You're not going to see that on a real car. All these things tied together is going to give you, a really good amount of self-steer as you're going through transitions, as you're initiating, things like that. But it's going to keep it from kicking and oscillating too much, especially as it goes through the center of the travel and stuff. And it's going to give you good input, and it's going to give you good output feedback from the game as well. So give these a try. I'm gonna start uploading some new tunes. So I'm gonna, have that's gonna be in correlation with these new settings on the new update and stuff too. So I really hope you guys give these a try. Look forward to getting these tunes out to you guys. Give the tunes a try as well. Make sure you use them in conjunction with each other. And I really hope you enjoy them. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment if you have a question or anything like that. I'm more than happy to answer them. If you have any Assetto needs with your same wheelbase, I have a video talking about all of that as well. My wheel settings on Assetto Corsa. You can go over to my playlist, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a nice, pretty red ER34 on the thumbnail with the TMX T150 Assetto Corsa wheel settings. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Like I said, don't forget, hit subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment if you have a question. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Have an awesome day.